What if you could play music on a cave?
On a cave.
Yeah,
Crazy, right?
it does sound a bit out there.
But it's real.
Really?
Yeah, there's this place, Luray Caverns in Virginia, and it's home to something unbelievable, the Great Stalacpipe Organ.
Okay, I'm listening.
So picture this. It's not like those massive organs you see in cathedrals.
Right.
This thing spans acres of a cave. And get this, the pipes are made of stalactites.
Stalactites, like the ones that hang from the ceiling?
The very same.
How do you even play a stalactite?
That's the mind-blowing part. It's this crazy mix of engineering and musical genius. And it all started with one guy, Leland Sprinkle. Back in 1954, he was just a mathematician and electronics engineer visiting Luray Caverns with his family like any other tourist.
A family vacation that changed music history.
Pretty much.
Sure.
Sprinkle noticed something interesting when he tapped the stalactites. They made different sounds.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah, and for most people, that would have been it. But Sprinkle, he was different. It sparked an idea in his head.
What kind of idea?
He thought, what if I could tune these stalactites?
Tune them.
Like a piano.
Exactly. He wanted to create a gigantic instrument right inside the cave, using nature as his orchestra.
Wow. That's some serious outside-the-box thinking.
You could say that. And it wasn't some quick project either. Sprinkle spent the next 3 years mapping the entire cave.
3 years? That's dedication.
He tested hundreds of stalactites, tapping them, listening to their sounds. He was trying to figure out which ones would be best for his organ.
I guess not all stalactites are created equal.
Nope. They're all different lengths. Thickness is made of different types of calcite. Sprinkle had to become a bit of a geologist to figure it all out.
So like with a guitar, a thicker string makes a lower sound. A thicker stalactite would have a deeper tone.
Exactly. It's all about physics, material properties, dimensions. But here's the thing, stalactites aren't perfectly uniform.
What do you mean?
Their thickness changes along their length, so their vibrations are super complex.
So tuning them must have been a nightmare.
It was painstaking. He had to grind away tiny bits of calcite from the tips to change their pitch.
Wow. Talk about precision. One slip and he could have ruined the whole thing.
And remember, this was back in the 50s. No fancy computers or lasers, just Sprinkle's ears and his tools.
That's incredible. But wait, tuning them is one thing. How do you actually play a cave full of stalactites?
Right. You can't have musicians climbing all over the place.
That'd be chaos.
Sprinkle's solution. A custom-built console that looks like a regular organ.
So how does it work?
Instead of blowing air through pipes, he used these things called solenoids.
Solenoids?
Basically tiny electric hammers.
Okay.
When you press a key on the console, it activates a solenoid which whacks a specific stalactite somewhere in the cave.
So you're playing a regular organ, but the music's coming from these rocks all over the cavern.
It's mind-blowing, right? But wait, there's more. Sprinkle still had to figure out how to capture and amplify the sound. You couldn't just stick microphones around the cave. The sound would be a mess, all echoes and reverb.
Right. Caves aren't exactly known for their acoustics.
So Sprinkle got creative. He took inspiration from electric guitars.
Electric guitars.
He used electromagnetic pickups to capture the vibrations of each stalactite individually.
That's brilliant. But how did he attach pickups to stalactites?
He had to insert a small steel bolt into each one. It interacts with the pickup's magnetic field so it can sense the vibrations.
So he took this rock and roll tech and applied it to ancient geology. That's wild.
It was a huge challenge. All those wires running through the cave, they were like antennas picking up radio signal. Sprinkle had to invent ways to shield everything so the organ wouldn't sound like static.
He basically had to create a recording studio inside a cave.
Exactly. But here's the craziest part. The cave itself became part of the instrument.
How so?
The walls, the formations, they all affect the sound. They act like natural amplifiers and filters.
So the music's not just coming from the stalactites, it's interacting with the whole cave.
It creates this incredibly rich atmospheric sound with these crazy reverberations that linger in the air. It's like the cave is singing along with the organ.
Wow, that must be an amazing experience.
It really is. And we're just scratching the surface here.
There's more.
Oh, yeah. Next, we'll dive into how people reacted to this crazy instrument. Because not everyone was thrilled about turning a natural wonder into a musical instrument.
I can imagine there were some strong opinions.
You bet. So stay tuned for that.
Welcome back. You know where we are, Luray Caverns, the Stalacpipe Organ.
We've come a long way. Leland Sprinkle's vision, the science behind the sounds.
And we hinted at a little controversy.
Yeah, some mixed feelings about this whole nature meets music thing. So let's rewind back to 1957, the grand debut of the Stalacpipe organ.
Okay.
Imagine the scene. People are excited, curious, a little skeptical.
I bet.
For many, it was pure amazement. This cave that makes music news spread like wildfire magazines, travel guides. Everyone's talking about it.
Yeah.
Luray Caverns became the place to be.
A must-see attraction.
But not everyone was on board. Some folks weren't too happy about this whole thing.
What were they upset about?
Well, some felt it was disrespectful, turning this ancient natural wonder into an instrument, like messing with something sacred.
I can see that point. These caves took millions of years to form.
Right. And there were worries about damage, too. Could the vibrations from the organ harm the formations or the delicate ecosystem in the cave?
Legitimate concerns. You don't want to mess with nature's balance.
And to their credit, the folks at Luray Caverns listened. They took those concerns seriously, worked with Sprinkle every step of the way to minimize any potential harm.
So they didn't just ignore the critics.
Nope. They knew they had to tread carefully. For one, Sprinkle chose mostly inactive stalactites for the organ,
Inactive.
the ones that weren't growing anymore, so less chance of disrupting anything.
Smart move. Working with nature, not against it.
And they didn't stop there. They set up all these monitoring systems to keep an eye on the stalactites, checking for any signs of stress or damage.
Like a cave checkup.
Pretty much. And all these years later, the stalactites are still doing great. The cave ecosystem's healthy.
It sounds like they found a way to have both innovation and preservation.
A delicate balance. But here's the thing. This story isn't over. It's still being written with science and a whole lot of care.
So what does that look like? How do you maintain an instrument that's literally part of a living cave?
It's a constant challenge. Water seeping through mineral deposits, even tiny earthquakes can affect the stalactites and the organ's sound.
So it's not just a one-time tune-up and you're done?
Nope. It's a never-ending job. Technicians regularly check the stalactites, make adjustments. It's like tuning a piano in the middle of a hurricane.
Sounds intense.
It is.
Yeah.
And get this, scientists think even tiny tremors from faraway earthquakes or traffic above ground can mess with the tuning.
Wow, everything's connected.
But technology is a big part of this too. Yeah. Remember those electromagnetic pickups Sprinkle used?
Yeah.
Well, they're not just for amplifying the music. They're helping scientists study the cave.
You mean they're listening for more than just musical notes?
Exactly. They're picking up all sorts of data about the stalactites, their vibrations, how they react to temperature changes, humidity, all kinds of stuff.
It's like the organ became a science experiment.
And it's given scientists a ton of insights. Not just about the organ, but about the cave's geology too.
So the cave provides the instrument, and the instrument helps us understand the cave even better.
It's this amazing loop of art science and nature feeding off each other.
I love it. And are there other high-tech tools they're using?
You bet. Ever heard of a laser vibrometer?
A laser what?
It's this cool device that uses lasers to measure vibrations without touching anything.
Okay.
So you point a laser at a stalactite, and you can see it vibrate in real time like it's dancing to the music.
Sounds like science fiction.
It's amazing. The data from these lasers help scientists create models of how the stalactites vibrate, which helps them fine-tune the organ, predict how it'll behave, and understand how it's changed over time.
So we're seeing the invisible world of sound.
And as technology keeps advancing, who knows what other secrets we'll uncover.
It's exciting.
It is. So we've covered the history, the science, the challenges of this incredible instrument.
A lot to digest.
But there's one last piece of the puzzle, the big picture stuff. What does the Stalacpipe organ tell us about ourselves and our place in the universe?
Now you're getting philosophical. I'm ready. We're back, still exploring the depths of Luray Caverns and its amazing stalacpipe organ.
It's been a wild ride, right? From that first aha moment with Leland Sprinkle to the science and the public's reactions.
Yeah, human ingenuity, nature's wonders, it all comes together in this one instrument.
But now as we wrap things up, I want to take a step back and think about the bigger picture.
The bigger picture.
The why of it all. We've explored how the nuts and bolts, the history, but what does the stalacpipe organ really tell us about ourselves, about our place in the universe?
I like where you're going with this.
Sprinkle didn't have to do this. He could have just enjoyed the beauty of the cave and moved on, but he saw something more. He saw potential.
Potential for something truly unique.
Exactly. He pushed the boundaries of what we thought was possible. He heard music where no one else did.
It's like he was listening to a secret language spoken by the cave itself.
That's a great way to put it. And that's what makes this instrument so profound. It shows us that the world is full of hidden potential, hidden beauty. It challenges us to look deeper, to listen closer.
To expect the unexpected.
Exactly. And to appreciate what we already have. Sprinkle didn't create the stalactites. He worked with them. He respected their natural beauty and turned them into something extraordinary.
So maybe instead of trying to control nature, we should be looking for ways to collaborate with it.
Right. Like working with the wind and the sun for energy, designing buildings that blend into the landscape, creating art that celebrates the connections between all things.
Shifting our perspective from masters of the universe to partners with it.
And don't forget the educational power of this instrument.
Oh yeah, it's a learning experience unlike any other.
Kids come to Luray Caverns, they hear this music coming from rocks. It sparks their imagination. It makes them curious about science, music, geology, history.
It shows them that learning can be fun and awe-inspiring.
And it's not just for kids. It reminds us all that learning doesn't have to be stuck in a classroom. The world is full of lessons if we're willing to look for them.
So as we close this chapter, what do you think is the legacy of the Great Stalacpipe Organ?
I think it's a beacon of human ingenuity, a testament to our collaboration with nature, and a symbol of the beauty and mystery that surrounds us.
And it's a reminder to stay curious, to respect our planet, and to never stop listening for the music of the universe.
Well said. And who knows, maybe someone listening right now will be inspired to create the next great wonder of the world.
That's a great thought to end on. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the Great Stalacpipe Organ. We hope you learned something new and that you're feeling inspired to explore the wonders of your own world.